This is the all-new Renault Austral, which is on sale in Ireland. Starts from mid €40,000. It goes up to early €50,000, and there's 3 trim levels. There's one drivetrain, one output performance of 200 brake horsepower from a 1.2 turbo engine. And it might seem mad to ask you to spend over 50 grand on a 3-cylinder engine, and in some ways it is, but Renault have done things to kind of mask the sound of it and the driving characteristics. In fact, even gear changes in this car are masked in the smoothness of how it happens. There's 2 battery motors on the front axle which assist in lots of driving dynamics as well. So the petrol engine sometimes is just very quietly, discreetly working in the background, sometimes not at all. I'm going to bring in a kind of point of view tour of the car today because this is a quick look at the Irish launch of the car. I'll drive it in full for a week in a couple of weeks' time. So here is a little tour of the new Renault Austral. So starting with the front, we have matrix headlights which are on all models as standard. Every model gets it, including the same can be said for the head-up display, which I'll show you a bit later on in the video. That is also standard on all models. So this is an Alpine Esprit, or is it Esprit Alpine? It's one or the other anyway, in that order. In some ways it kind of looks like a big Nissan Qashqai, particularly that rear quarter over the car. It's also longer in wheelbase than the Kadjar, which gives you an idea of how much space is inside for passengers. This is a matte grey finish, so you get black here, black on the roof rails, and black over the side of the rear quarter of the car also, and around the wheel arches, which are a different colour, but they're a high gloss. Okay, so starting with the outside of the car, it looks quite large, especially the front. You know, it is a big car, got broad shoulders on it, big huge matrix headlights. They're standard across all the range of the Austral. So how they work, in case you're not familiar with them, is they're basically, instead of one bulb, there's loads of different LEDs in them, and they're able to divert the direction if there's an oncoming car towards you. They reduce the glare you get off road signs. You know, when you're driving on a motorway at night time or whatever, and your headlights are kind of almost dazzling off whatever exit it's telling you to take, or the price of the toll bridge has just gone up to $3.50, although you're better off probably not looking at that and letting that be blinded for you. So that's the matrix headlights. Over the side then, you can get up to 20-inch alloy wheels, Alpine on this car, and you've got different tone colours over the wheel arches, which is nice. It's not plastic, it's high gloss. You've got the roof rails, and again, it is quite a tall car from the side as well. The wheelbase is longer than a Renault Kadjar, so you get more interior space for passengers and where they sit and leg room and all that kind of stuff. And the flexibility of the boot is 555 litres. That's if you use a combination of the false floor, which is there, and there's levers underneath the rear bench that can move the bench forward or back with the split of 70-30. We've seen that in things like the Renault Captur, and it's good because you get a few more inches out of your boot if you're carrying something that just won't quite fit, and then you go, but there's an extra level. So that's good. Knee room and leg room in the back in general is decent. Good bit of space there. You're getting some USB-C charger ports in the back for charging your devices, and you've got an armrest. So the back is also well covered. And then here in the front of the vehicle, so you've got Google integrated with the car, which is great because that just works. You type in your destination, it tells you when you're going to be there. It's the exact same as using Google Maps on your phone. Works the exact same way. So that works beautifully. And not too many cars in the market that use that. You've got Volvo, obviously Renault, Polestar, but there could be more of them. And just while I'm waiting here at the lights, so up here you have a sunglasses holder, but it also doubles up as a little mirror, so you can see your kids asleep. Are they killing each other? Have they got their belt? Well, it'll tell you if they don't have their belts on, but just nice to have that mirror. I've only ever really seen that in a Honda CR-V. There's very few cars that have that, but it's something that's very, very simple, and as a parent is a little bit reassuring to have. So in this Alpine edition of the car, you have the Alpine logo stitched into the headrest. They're quite comfortable, these seats actually. They're like a mix of Alcantara with fabric. Leather, not really in fashion anymore. You obviously can get vegan leather, but Renault have gone for the Alcantara look on this. This area here for your hand is stolen from Audi's e-tron. But it works. It's somewhere to put your hand because obviously you're driving this as an automatic. You don't always have two hands on the steering wheel, although you should, of course. You've got nice ambient lighting throughout the cabin. There's kind of a purpley colour going on today with the blue stitching. Depending on what model you'll get a Harman Kardon sound system, which is very bassy. It's a great sound system out of that if you love your tunes. Loads of safety stuff on board. Obviously cruise control, that's radar guided. And if you go over the speed limit, it will flash at you to tell you that you're not being a good boy or girl, but at least you're aware of it. Now, onto the driving dynamics of the car. It is nippy, so there's only 200 brake horsepower from the single option of a 1.2 turbo petrol. Renault claim you'll get over 1,000 kilometers out of a tank of juice, which is pretty impressive if that's true. And it should be pretty easy on the juice. Also, 6.6 litres per 100 kilometers, which is okay. It's all right. It's not too bad. Because it is a big car. Like, it feels like it's a little bit bigger than a Nissan Qashqai. Now, it's only under proper revving, and even then, not for very long, that you hear the 3-cylinder. If I didn't tell you, I was going to tell you in a video review, but if I didn't tell you when you got into the car as a passenger or whatever, I don't know if you'd ever notice. I really mean that. It's very smooth, either a combination of insulating going on in the engine bay or whatever, but it works because it's not very obvious that's a 3-cylinder. However, what is obvious is spending €46,000 up to €53,000 on this 3-cylinder engine. That bit kind of grates a little bit. Another safety feature, just being reminded as I get overtaken there, is a blind spot in your mirror. Head-up display is great because that gives you your sat-nav, your speed, and if you're above the speed limit, that will also warn you there at all times, so it's always in your line of sight. It's a massive screen / tablet that's integrated, but there are physical buttons down the bottom, so people that don't like going through screens for menus will like that. It's good storage for bits as well throughout the cabin, whether it's for drinks, door bins, under the armrest. Don't really find yourself wanting there too much. There'll be over-the-air updates on all cars, so your software, let's say there's a little glitch in Google Maps or something, that would be rectified the next time the car does an over-the-air update. On the fuel economy front, although I'm getting 6.6, driving it a little bit hard, driving on the motorway, Renault claim about 4.6 litres per 100 kilometres. That should be about the norm. We'll also do up to 130 kilometres an hour in electric mode. I'm doing 100 now because that's the speed limit, but yeah, I can't hear an engine ticking away. Now I can. Some models, all 4 wheels can turn. It's mad, you look at the mirror and you see them turning. And if you have that version of the Austral, it has a smaller turning circle than a Renault Clio. That's impressive. Over 100 people tested this car in a total of 3 million kilometers. Like, they've gone around the earth 75 times. And it was also tested on Irish roads. So earlier on in 2023, there was a camouflaged version of this car doing the rounds. It was popping up on social media because it was just like, what's this? Now, it's not exclusive to Renault. A lot of companies will bring their not as yet launched models to Ireland to test them on our roads. But it's nice to know if you're buying one of these that actually it's had its paces put at it in an Irish capacity. So if you're thinking, oh, well, it suits Irish roads, well, yeah, they've tweaked it. Having driven here and gone back and made 350 adjustments to the car before they signed off on it. Techno Esprit, Alpine E-Tech and Iconic Esprit Alpine E-Tech are the 3 trims. They are 45,295, 47,295 and 52,295. So a £2,000 jump and then a £5,000 jump to the highest spec of the car, which is very, very well spec'd in fairness. So it's a nice place to sit. It's definitely up there with stuff that Kia are producing, and they are very good interiors. The Megane Mach-E, the Megane E that we've tested, very similar steering wheel, instrument cluster. Screen is obviously a little bit bigger, but it's a spacious enough car and has that higher seating position. If you're wondering why everybody is obsessed with SUVs, by the way, in Ireland, or C-segment cars, over 50% of sales so far this year in this country has been in C-segment. So people are buying them because manufacturers are making them. And it's kind of like a vicious circle. It just goes around. People want this style of car right now anyway. So look, this is a very quick walk around, quick bit of driving of the new Renault Austral. It is expensive. A lot of tech going on in it, a lot of firsts for it, like they say the biggest screen on the market. It does feel very refined, it does feel very premium, and the fact that there's no entry level is simply because it starts from about 46,000 euros, so there's a lot of money at stake here. But it is quite a large car. I like some of the versatility, the cleverness, the mirror for checking on your kids, the way there's a bit of flexibility in the boot space if you bring that extra, well, that second row seats forward or back, that's good. But there's no get away from it. It is expensive, although it comes very, very well spec'd. Head-up display and matrix headlights as standard across the range is impressive. Come back to us in a few weeks' time. We will drive this car in full for a week. I'll give you more thoughts on living with it at that stage. And if you have any comments or questions, would you buy one? Do you think it's decent value for the spec you get? Comment down below and I'll talk to you in the next one.